من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا عباد الله. ثم يقول عز وجل يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. ثم يقول عز وجل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما صلى الله عليه وسلم. ثم كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فإن أصلح الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم يقول سيدنا موسى عليه السلام رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعلني وزيرا من أهلي آمين رب العالمين. We begin in the name of Allah Azza wa Jal, and we send our blessings to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to all of the Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's companions and to all of his family. Whoever Allah Azza wa Jal guides, nobody can misguide. And whoever Allah Azza wa Jal misguides, nobody can ever guide the one who Allah Azza wa Jal has misguided. And we testify and we bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the last of our messengers. So inshallah, today's khutbah will be more on a realistic or personal kind of basis. To an extent, what I mean by that is, inshallah, it will be something very related. So many times when we start off school, and specifically for us, for MCC students, Business County College students, and many of us here were either doing engineering or doing medicine, or doing something of that regard. And so many of us, like to be organized, so we go through our laptops and our computers, and we'll start listing. Okay, I'm going to be taking this many credits and this many classes in fall of 2018, in spring of 2019. I'm transferring Rutgers, I'm transferring NJIT, I'm transferring Keen by this semester, by this year. This is how many credits are getting transferred. So alhamdulillah, we understand the importance of our school. And we understand that we have goals to accomplish, and we know when we have to accomplish these goals by. And we understand that our duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something that comes first. So we understand this. So we worship Allah, we focus on our grades, and that's great. That's something we're supposed to do. But many times we ask ourselves, when we make it to graduation day, how did we get here? Sometimes many of us, when we remember graduating high school, it might be a while ago for some of us, but we remember graduating high school and we ask ourselves, like, who inspired me? Who gave me so much, who inspired me to work so hard? Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Isra, which is the 17th chapter in the Quran, it's right before Surah Kaf. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the 23rd ayah, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That Allah Azza wa Jal has ordained, He has decreed, He has made it, that you worship none other than Him. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Right after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, your number one priority, that He has made it, that you worship Him alone. That is what He has ordained, that what He has decreed. So this is the most important thing. And what does Allah Azza wa Jalla say right after? وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, to have good to both parents. And so we ask ourselves that to worship Allah alone is something that is obligatory upon us 5 times a day. But not only do we do that, after the 5 times salah, we watch our actions. We make sure we don't sin. We make sure we do dhikr. So it's like we're always trying our best to be in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something that is the meaning of our life, the meaning of our existence. And so we ask ourselves, right after Allah says, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, this is something that is so important. This is something that Allah Azza wa Jalla gives importance. And many times when you look in the Quran, all over the Quran, many times, whether it's in Baqarah or Imran or any surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the successful ones are those who do good, who believe, who invite to charity. These are the most important things in life. And you see the rest of the ayah, the 23rd ayah, Surah Isra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says how you give the importance of the parent. Not only does Allah say, that first Allah comes first, then your parents right after. But Allah says, how do you give importance to them? إِمَّا يَبَلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبْرُ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. This is so beautiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when one of the parents, or both of the parents reach old age, do not even say uff to them. Uff meaning don't show any attitude to them. You know, if your parents tell you something, you know, you roll your eyes, or you mumble under your breath, you know, why are they making me do this? You know, I just got home from school, I studied a long day, I had a physics test, I had a chemistry test, like, they don't get me, they don't understand me. And so we kind of show this attitude. Allah says, don't even show attitude. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Don't do that. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. And do not repel them. Meaning, don't neglect them. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. And with regards to those parents, don't show off to them, don't neglect them. Speak a noble word to them. Speak a good word to them. Speak kindness to them. So again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the first importance, the first thing is Allah. That you worship Allah, that you believe in Allah. And then right after, the importance of your parents. Now Allah tells you how you show this importance. That you don't say off to them, you don't show them attitude. That you don't repel them. That if they come to you for advice or they try to get help from you, you don't say like, I gotta study, get back to me on my free time. After I finish all my studying, you don't do that. But you make time for them. And you speak a noble word to them. And the next ayah right after is one of my favorite ayahs in the entire Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. And lower your wing of humility out of mercy for them. You know, Ustad Umar Khan, a couple years ago, he made a video on this, giving tafsir on this, and he says what's so beautiful is the word that's being used is literally lowering the wing of humility. So for the sake of mercy, out of the mercy of your parents, lower your wing of humility for them. And he talks about this and he says, what's so beautiful about this is the child, when the child is in the room, they have the option to close the door and say, don't enter my room. When I get home, this is my room, I need my time. I need to watch at least one Netflix episode so I can have this sanity, so I can be peaceful in my mind. Don't talk to me. So the child has this option to be rude to their parent. And out of the love of the mercy of the parent, they're not going to kick you out of the house or anything like that. But what does the believing child do? وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. They lower the wing of humility. Meaning like you're the parent's right-hand man, the right-hand woman. That you're their pillar of support. And then right after, and the ayah finishes, is a beautiful dua. وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. O my Lord, O my Rabb, have mercy upon them, have rahmah upon them, for they brought me up, they raised me when I was young. Allah, this is such a beautiful dua. If many of us here, if we don't know this dua, we should spend some time, it takes 5 minutes, very short dua. Make this dua for our parents, because they've done a lot for us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He notes in His Quran, and we get it, that our parents make sacrifices for us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows that our parents make sacrifices for us. Our parents make sacrifices for us, so we should be making sacrifices for them. It is narrated in Bukhari by Al-Adab al-Mufrad that a Yemeni man came to the companion Ibn Umar. And he came to Ibn Umar and he said, Ya Ibn Umar, I made Hajj around the Kaaba. I did tawaf around the Kaaba and I made Hajj. And throughout this whole time, not only did I do that, but I carried my mother on my back when I did that. It's so difficult. We hear about the stories of people doing Hajj and how difficult it is, you doing it by yourself, but can you imagine this Yemeni man who came to the Kaaba and he performed Hajj with his mother on his back? Can you imagine? Like we're not talking about like an NBA or NFL athlete here. We're talking about a normal man. And so he asked Ibn Umar that, have I fulfilled the right of my mother? Have I fulfilled everything that she's done for me? And Ibn Umar replies, Wallahi, you have not even fulfilled a portion of what she went through when she gave birth to you. SubhanAllah. You have not even fulfilled a portion of what she went through when she gave birth to you. Many times we feel like, when I get out of college, when I start making money, maybe 70,000, 80,000, 90,000, I can write my parents that check once a week. I'll pay their water bill, their medical bill. I'll pay all their bills, and I'm chilling. I'm alright. That's fine. And we act like, that's all, because that's what they did for us. They paid our bills. What's the big deal? It's a big deal because not only do we have to do that, we have to support them if they need financial support. But again, lower your wing of humility. Speak noble words to them. Don't reject them. Be their pillar of support. On a more personal level, and this is something we can all relate to. Many times, when you get a job in college, or even when you had a job like your senior year of high school, many times when you get a job and you start making like $12 or $13 an hour, you're like, I'm my own man now. I'm my own woman now. Like I can buy all the Jordans now. I can finally buy that nice car I was saving up for. I can show all the people that I have swagger or anything like that. And we realize that we see our parents. And they make a lot of money, more than a high school child would make, obviously. And we look at them and we're like, they're not wearing the expensive Jordans. They're not wearing the nicest, leather jackets and all these things. And you notice that they don't wastefully spend their money on anything they would like to do. Sure, they would like it. Any human would like that, but they don't do that. Why? Because they're always putting us first. Can you think about it? You have two individuals maybe in your life who before they think about the pleasure of themselves, they're like, I gotta feed my child. I gotta put food on the plate. Wallahi, that's so powerful. That your parent makes sacrifices for you. They can get the nice things, but they don't do that because they know I have to save money. Ali, Abdullah, Fatima, Zainab, whatever the child name is, they're gonna go to college and I need to save money for them. Parents always have this idea of discipline. They always have this idea of child is first. They're always making sacrifices. And so we understand that. Everybody understands that. Even the non-Muslim was to walk in right here, he understands that his parent is important. That he has to take care of his parent. That's something that's approved by all society. They say that if your old man take care of you, you gotta take care of your old man. Everybody's heard this before. So we go through the school week. And we know our parents are important. We're like, school is important. I got these 4 years, I gotta make it big. So you go through the school week, you studied for the test that was on Wednesday, and then you get to Thursday, and you finally get some time to relax. And maybe you get home at 8 or 9 p.m., and your parents talking to you, you're like, hey, I need your help with this one thing. You're like, come to me when I'm free. Many times what we do is we're like, I'm going to sleep until maybe 11 or 12 p.m., and then when I'm comfortable, then I'm going to use that productive time to study. Again, if we made sacrifices for our parents, wouldn't it be like, I'm going to wake up for Fajr, I'm going to get my work done, so I can be on their available time. So when they need me at 12 p.m., I'm there for them. I'm not saying I'm going to do my schoolwork at 12 p.m., I'm saying when they need me at 12 p.m., I'm there for them. Because I understand when they need me, and I'm going to be there for when they need me. Because just like when they made sacrifices for me, just like when I was a little baby and I was crying, I kept them up at night, now it's time for me to make sacrifices. Again, we're in college now. And it's time for us to be grown-ups. We constantly complain that there's so much problem going on in our house. Our parents don't understand us. They never went to college or anything like this. They don't understand our mentality, our mindset. They don't know how to use the iPhone for some of us. And so we ask ourselves, they just don't get us. But again, how many excuses are we going to make? How many excuses are we going to make? Are we going to keep on saying this for the rest of our life? They just didn't get me, they just didn't understand me? Or are we grown-ups now? Are we in college now? We're going to say, it's my family. If my family's going down the hill, I'm going down. If my family's going down the drain, I'm going down the drain too, because I'm a part of that. I'm one person on that team. Your family's a team. So again, like the basketball team, we all have to pass the ball so we score the basket. Just like in a family, that one individual has to help everybody out, even if it's the hardest thing. Because it's easy to give advice to other people. It's easy to be Amir al-Mu'mineen, the leader of the Muslims outside the house. But when you get inside the house, it's the most difficult. Like, your parents know of your sins, and they know what you've gone through. So when you're trying to advise them or be with them, and you're trying to make sacrifices for them, they're like, what are you doing? You're a little boy, what are you doing out of nowhere? So it's hard. It is definitely hard. But again, when we make sacrifices for them, and we talk to them in a respectful way, and we don't repel them, and we speak to them with a gentle tone, they'll realize that, he or she, they're college now. Maybe they're trying to take their life seriously. Maybe, this is something that's good. And so again, going back to what I was saying is, we have to make time for them. When the weekend comes, this even happened to me before. When the weekend comes and that Saturday comes, and maybe that favorite show is on, you're like, this is my time now. This is my time to chillax. This is my time to chill. This is my time, to be myself. So, I need some alone time. I studied all day, and it's hard. It is definitely hard. But again, if we work our schedule around our parents, then what does that show them? You put them as a priority first. That you show them that this is somebody, my son or my daughter, they're looking at it from an analytical business perspective. That they're putting me first, they're getting their work done, they're being dutiful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is something that is expected of us. It's not like it's your option to respect your parents or not. Again, Allah says the first thing of importance is to worship Him alone. And right after is وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. It's not like it's an option. It's not like if you have time, out of a courtesy, that you'll go help your parent. This is something that is expected of you. If you don't do it, you're going to be accountable for it. It's a very serious thing. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who are good to our parents. Allahumma ameen. Inshallah, in the second part of the khutbah, we'll talk about how we can build this relationship with our parents through immense communication. قولي قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. So let's say you listen to the khutbah and you go home and you're like, okay, so whenever my parents need me, I'll be there for them. So if they give you a task, like this is at work. Let's say you're at work and your boss gives you a task and you complete the task. The boss gives you another task and you complete the task. You may be a good worker, and in the sight of your parents, you might be a good child, but you realize sometimes that life is not just about your parents giving you a task and then you complete the task. Now there's also going to be conflicts that come in. There's going to be family situations. There's going to be times where the family goes through something and people in the family are crying. And your parents are crying because of a certain incident from your brother or sister. So now you have to take care of that incident because your parents might not be emotionally stable. So now you have to take care of your brother or sister for a certain problem for the sake of making your parents happy. And these are things that we have to do. Problems come up. Life is not always about, hey son or daughter, I need you to make that lunch. I need you to make your lunch. I need you to build this table and then get it done by 5 p.m. When you do that, it's not always that simple. There's going to be conflicts that come in our life, and that's a part of life. That's a part of struggle, and we have to accept that. But a good way to get through this is by developing a certain relationship with your parents through means of communication. Anybody can tell you that when you ever see somebody who has a good relationship with their parents, it's not only like the parent gives a task and then you complete the task. It's also the parent and the child. They have this relationship where they're always seeking advice and they're giving advice to each other. If you study any form of psychology, any psychologist, any scholar, any imam will tell you that the biggest problem that exists in a household is a lack of communication. If there's a problem that exists, it's the lack of communication between a parent and a child. The child's never home. The parent wonders why the child is never home. The parent comes home late at night and asks the child comes home late at night and the parent asks, where were you? Who were you with? And the child says, why do you care? This is my own life. I'm my own wave. Why are you talking to me like that? And so we become rebellious. And because of this, because there's no lack of communication. And we may come from families like this where our parents might not be scholars. They might not understand that at age of 4 my child has to do this. Age of 7 they gotta pray. Age of 9 they gotta fast. Things like this. They might not understand that. But again, we're in college now, so we're grown-ups now. We can't just watch our family going down the drain, our parents going down the drain. We gotta advise them. We gotta build this level of communication with them. So Sheikh Tariq Musla, he once said in the ICNA convention about 2 years ago, he was giving an example of how what it means to be a lack of communication between a parent and a child. He says, when a child closes the door in the house when he's leaving, and he leaves the house like it's on fire. I was hearing this live, I was so shocked. He's like, when a child leaves the house, it's a fire. Meaning that when the child closes the door, when the parent is screaming at the child saying, who are you going, where are you going, why aren't you talking to me, how's school, what are your grades like? The child leaves the house and he closes the door, he closes his bedroom door, and he shuns the parent out. So again, remember what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Isra, verse 23, don't repel them. This is what the child is doing, he's repelling them, he's neglecting them. He closes the door and he leaves the house like it's a fire. Meaning that as soon as he leaves the house, it's a fire inside the house because the parents are arguing with each other now. The father is arguing with the mother. You raised our son like this. And then the mother is arguing with the father. You raised our son like this. And so what happens is because of our own shortcomings that our parents don't understand, because we're not able to make sacrifices, because we're not man enough, we're not woman enough, now our parents are in a state where they're arguing with each other. Now they feel like they're not doing their job. And that's the worst thing that we can do. If you're working, for example, in a project, in a class with a classmate, and you don't do your part, and that classmate also gets a bad grade, everybody knows that's a terrible feeling. Because you didn't put enough hard work, that person also suffers. So just like inside the household, when we leave the house like it's a fire, everybody a part of our team, meaning all of our siblings, all of our family, we let them down. Because we're not man enough, we're not woman enough to care about our lives, to make sacrifices, to show importance. If you see in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, in the beginning, as a young boy, he has a dream, and he tells his father the dream. And this is one of the perfect examples in the Quran. There's also the story of Luqman, but that's a little bit longer, but for the sake of time. You see, when Yusuf alayhi salam, as a young boy, he gets a dream, and he tells his father, and the first thing he says to his father, he goes up to his father, and he says, Ya abati, oh my beloved father, oh my loving father. This is something that is so beautiful because many times when we go to our parents, we just say, many times we just say, yo, or hey, or can you do this favor for me? Or I need money, can you pay my tuition bill? But the first thing Yusuf understands is Yusuf needs advice. So the first person he goes to advice is to his father. And he tells his father, Ya abati, inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaban wash-shamsa wal-qamara ra'aytuhum li sajidin. Oh my beloved father, I had a dream. I saw the 11 stars, the sun and the moon prostrate to me. And so we see here that when a child is in confusion, that when many of us here, we have parents, that when we deal with something, that we should go to our parents, develop this level of communication with them, that if we have a problem, we go to our parents. Because the thing is with your parents, is you don't have to worry about them exposing your faults to other people. Because your parents got your back, they've been with you since day one. So Yusuf goes to his father for advice, and he says, oh my beloved father, he speaks to him in a respectful manner. And then the first thing the father replies back is what? Qala, Ya bunayya, oh my beloved son. Ya bunayya. This is so beautiful. This child tells the father, oh my beloved father. And the father replies back with, oh my beloved son. And he says in the ayah, don't narrate, don't tell this dream to your brothers, for shaitan is an open, clear enemy. And so the father cares about his other children. But he told, for the sake of Yusuf, for the sake of Yusuf and his health, don't tell your brothers this dream. So the father gave real advice. This is legitimate advice. So we see that when we seek advice from our parents, be respectful to them, be nice to them, show them their importance. And so we ask ourselves, and this is me, when I first heard this in the Jumaa khutba, I came home and I said, but my father isn't Yaqub. My father's not a prophet. My father will never say, oh my beloved, heartwarming son, and give me a hug. I understood this. And my father's not like that. He's not Yaqub. So I had to understand that there's a certain level of hikmah or wisdom that goes into the way you speak to your parents. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal maw'idati al hasana." The call towards the way of Allah through hikmah, through wisdom. So if your parents are very, we say desi or very Arab in a sense where they're very cultured, where a lot of their culture they associate with religion. If you know this, sometimes you might have to advise them or seek advice through them, not necessarily through Islamic etiquettes, or you might have to go to your parents, you might have to be like Mama or Baba, you might have to go to them like that. Because that's something you're familiar with. Sometimes that's something that's accustomed to your culture. Because if you go to your father and you're like, oh my beloved father, that's something he's not accustomed to. Again, you're going to your mother or your father in a way that they're familiar with. Something that, many of you say, you'll earn brownie points with them. You'll earn, you'll develop a level of communication that they understand. Just two more things to wrap up, inshallah. When you think about our mother or father, you think about we're going through college and we're going through this time in our life where we're constantly seeking education day by day. We go to the masjid, we hear the khutba, we hear the wa'im halqa, we hear the talk by the imam, and we gain this knowledge and we write down notes, and that's great. We should keep doing that. And sometimes we get all this knowledge and we know the Quranic ayahs, we know the hadith, we know the statements of the Salaf and the Sahaba, and we get home and our parents say something that we know isn't correct. Like for example, if your parents say something regarding Salah and you get hurt because that's not correct. So you go into this situation and you have to correct them. You got to reprimand them or scold them, or you feel like you have to do that. You're like, no, you're wrong, this and that. This is how it's supposed to be. And you quote to your parents, Allah Azza wa Jalla says this, the Prophet ﷺ says this, the companions did this, and your parents, they haven't gone through the knowledge that you've gone through. So again, you might be winning the argument with your parents. You might be giving them that, you might think that you're giving them counsel, but in the inside you're just breaking their heart, that you're not prioritizing. You go to sleep that night and you won the argument with your parents, but what did you achieve? What did we achieve? We stated the Quranic ayahs, we stated the hadith. You went to your mom and said, Mom, you're wrong. Look where it says in the Quran, you were wrong. Did you not know anything, Mom? When we go to our parents like this, what do we achieve? They go to sleep with a broken heart. This is so important that when we go to our parents, we're respectful to them. We're kind to them. That when we go to them, we have to have sincerity in our heart. That this is something I need advice from. I want you to give advice to me. And again, they're not scholars, so they're not going to give you the best, maybe the best of the best advice. But again, we take the good and we leave the bad. Because again, at the end of the day, they might not have gone through 10 to 20 marriage or how to raise children workshop. Why? Because they were thinking of you. They were like, I got to work extra hours to take care of you. Sure, they would have loved to learn how to raise you correctly. You might have gone through a lot in your life. We live in America and we live in times where it is hard sometimes. And we hear stories of children who are not treated correctly, they're not disciplined correctly, they're abused or they're physically or verbally abused. And so when times like this come and we ask ourselves, it's so hard to be close to our parents, it's so hard to listen to them with every single thing. Again, we try our best. We take the good and we leave the bad. Because again, they made sacrifices for us. So we'll do anything in our power to also make sacrifices for them. So if you notice, the first part of the khutbah was what it was about importance. The second was about communication. So now we get all this. We understand they're important. We understand we have to communicate with them to develop a good relationship. To be perfect with them, we have to have this good relationship with them. But now, how do we apply this? And I can't say one statement, this is the last thing I'm going to say, that I can't just say one statement, or we can just talk about one statement that everybody should do. Because again, every person here has two different parents. Your life is tailored in such a way that only you know about it. So if I was to come here and say, after you come home every single day after physics, clean all the dishes, for you, you might take a night physics class. You might come home at 10 p.m. You might be taking the bus or NJ Transit. You might come home at 10:30. You need to eat dinner. And then 11 o'clock comes, you might be doing your nightly routine. And it might be hard to do dishes at 11 p.m. because your family might be sleeping. So again, it's something only you in this room, only us, we can truly understand. So we understand the psychology of our parents. We know if we have to talk to them in a certain way to develop a relationship. So we ask ourselves, when we get home, what's one thing that we can do? Specifically for me, I know that when I come home on Fridays after Jumaa, I know that that's a time for me where I can vacuum the living room. That's something that's easy for me. That's something that it's a perfect time for me. So before you leave the room today, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do daily? And if I can't do it daily, then at least once a week, what's something I can do? Because I have to do it at least once a week. My mother cooks for me. My father cooks for me every single day. If they don't cook for me that one day, then that's a problem because we have to eat. But when it comes to us, we're like, if we do it once a month, we're fine. Let's try to at least be equal in the sacrifices that we make. So, sorry for taking too much time, but it's just something I'm very emotional about because it's a very important topic. That this is something that is a priority. It's something that is followed upon us, obligatory upon us, to be good to both of our parents. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal, with regards to our parents, that we lower our ring of humility out of the mercy for them. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal that on Yawm al-Qiyamah, that we enter the gates of Jannah with our parents. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal that a time comes in our life where we're able to be successful in our education and we're able to go to our parents and we're able to say, don't worry anymore, I'll pay all the bills. Don't worry anymore, I'll take care of you. Don't worry anymore, I might not be living with you, but I'll come by once a week. I'll give you gifts, I'll seek counsel from you, we'll talk, we'll FaceTime, we'll have a good connection. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who are dutiful. اللهم آمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. قيموا الصلاة. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم ومن يدع مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام